Hey guys, it's Mark with Bees Music Shop. We're on day 3 of the Anaheim 2023 NAMM Show, and we're lucky enough to run into Matthew from Alexander Effects. How you doing today, Matt?
I'm doing great.
Super good to hear. I really like this board layout we got going on. Tell me a little bit about what we got here.
So the board layout itself, I was really inspired by modular synths. Every time I go over into the synth world, I'm like, oh, this is so cool. So I wanted to do something that took up minimal footprint on the table. We've had this board for about 5 years now, and it's been great. It's actually a bunch of pedal trains bolted together.
Nice.
Yeah, they're literally pedal trains. So I'm great friends with Jim Colell at Pedal Train, and he hooked us up with some boards, and I was like, what can we do with these? So, but on the board, we've got all the stuff in our current product lineup, which are our Leap and our Venture series. So we start here with our Jubilee, our best-selling drive pedal, and then we roll up to our Syntax Error 2, our audio computer system. It sounds like a broken Nintendo. This is the Fever Pitch, and it's a stereophonic, quadraphonic pitch shifter. And then ignore that. And then we have the Rewind, which is our programmable echo unit. It's all of our delays that we've made, all mashed into one. The radical delay, the amnesia, the history lesson, all the stuff that we've done over the years, packed into one little box. And then finally the Space Force, which is our reverb unit. So it also packs all of our old reverbs. So the Golden Summer and the Space Race and the Sky 5000 and the Space Expander all into one box. So it's everything you ever liked about our reverbs in one little box. And then finally, we have the GFI Cab Zeus. Shout out to Henry at GFI for always helping us out. He even made me custom firmware for this one so that people at the show couldn't mess with it. Yeah, so they can't change the preset and make it sound different. So
I love that. I've got one of those at home. Do you mind, would you want to strap on the guitar, or maybe I could and we could hear some of them?
Yeah, no one in the world wants to hear me play guitar, so you better do it.
Okay, here, I'll trade you this.
It's Matthew Farrow reporting for Bees Music Shop.
How's the weather out there?
In North Carolina? Wet. Yeah, wet. It's usually pretty wet, except when it's hot and wet. All right, can you hear yourself play?
Sweet settings, yeah.
All right, let's see. Let's crank the gain down a little bit here, and we're going to use this as our preamp and our boost. So we're going to start with the Syntax Error. Let me refresh the preset here. So on any of the Leap and Venture series, if you hold the foot switch down, the bypass foot switch, it loads the next preset. And so when you're playing live, or even when you're in the studio, you can instantly get to the sound that you had saved without having to mess around with it. You want to mess around with it, we got knobs for that. But I don't know about you, but when I'm playing, I'm in a hurry. I have 1 second between the chorus and the verse, and I don't have a lot of time to get stuff done. So this is called rubber tape. So this is our stretch mode. So this mode is listening to what you play, and it's slowing it down or speeding it up. And it's doing a bunch of glitchy, sample crushing, and then we can turn on a mini sequencer, and the mini sequencer is going to change the speed of the playback from forward to reverse. So you'll hear it, and in the narrow camera shot, if we can switch to that, you'll see the play value here is going from full on to full off, and that corresponds with the sound that you're hearing from the guitar where the whole thing turns around backwards. So it's like a rubber tape recorder. Yeah. The Syntax Error is one of those pedals that you kind of play into it like it's its own instrument. Like if you play a bunch of blues licks into it, it's probably going to be a little uninteresting or very bad. But if you play to it, you can come up with some stuff that's really musical and cool. Okay, so the Fever Pitch here is, like I said, it's a stereo pitch shifter, but it's got 4 voices. So each voice can be set to any interval you want, from -1 octave to -2 to +2 octaves, 4 times. Each one can be changed, the level can be changed, and they can all be panned across the stereo field. So this is the preset that every artist that has got one of these pedals, every time I look at their boards, it's on this preset. So we're going to assume this is the one that people like. This is called D-Tuner, and I'm just going to go here and refresh it here. I'm just going to step through this until I get back to 5, and that'll make sure we have the correct preset and it hasn't been edited. So we'll hit it, and you're going to hear the sound widen. You guys are probably only recording this in mono, which is cool. but in stereo, it's quite impressive. So what Mark is hearing is the stereo from the pedal board. What you guys at home are hearing is mono, which is, it's gonna sound cool, but the stereo is immense. It's giant and wide. It's a really beautiful sound. So this is 4 voices of micro shifting. So they're all much less than a semitone. So it's detuning everything. And then there's a vibrato chorus and a little bit of panning on it. So the sound is very animated. So even in mono, it sounds cool, but in stereo, it's really something to behold. But you guys are all watching this on your phones, so you can't really get the stereo-ness of it. So we'll go on. This one is not out yet, and it's not, I'm not going to tell you about it. You can just speculate and guess about what it is. We're going to skip it. We're going to go to the next one. This is a secret. But B's Music Shop is going to have them on day 1. They'll have them in stock on day 1. I'll promise you that. So this is the rewind. We're going to play a couple modes on this. There's so much packed into these little pedals that a 2-second demonstration of it is just not going to help anybody. So this is called Runaway. This is an analog delay, analog style delay. And so you can hear it's warm and round and a little bit blurry sounding. And when I hold the ramp switch here, we're going to go to an infinite repeat. It just keeps repeating and repeating. And then when I hit it again, it goes away. So anytime you want it to swell up and run away, you hold a big note, a bend, something like that. It starts swelling, and then when you're done, you hit it again and it goes away. So that's really cool. And then because we call this thing the rewind, let's listen to the reverse delay sound. So here's the reverse delay. So we've got the possibility of having a reverse delay mixed with a forward delay. There's a bunch of cool features in this mode. So we can ramp it, and we can change the character of the sound, and it's all wet at this point, so it's only reversed. And we can go back, and now we have the wet and the dry mixed, and so it sounds a little different, but still backwardsy, kind of psychedelic Hendrixy, if that makes sense. And then lastly, this is our, it's actually been on the whole time, but it's been on a kind of a subtle setting. This is our Space Force. So we'll go back a preset and we'll go up 1. So this is the modulated hall reverb. Let me crank the mix a little bit so it's a little less subtle. But it's a medium, large hall with the trails being modulated. And so we've got extra controls in here so we can actually choose the wave shape of the modulation, the rate, the low frequency, the depth of the modulation. So we can get it pretty seasick in here like this. That's a lot. But if you have it in a more subtle setting, it really sounds beautiful and musical. Let's listen to, this is our spring reverb. This is the mode that took me the most amount of time to work. Getting the ping and the splash to be right was really challenging. Modeling a physical spring is a lot different than like, oh, here's a hall, here's a church sound, whatever. The spring thing is complicated, and I think I did okay. I think maybe in a few years I'll be even better at it. So we'll do a firmware update and you'll get it for free. But the spring mode has a built-in tremolo. So if we hit the ramp, now we have the tremolo, and the tremolo is tap tempo, and it has a waveform select. So if you want it to be a little more extreme, you can do a square wave tremolo like this, or you can do a sort of flutter guy like this. So a little more like repeat percussion. I don't know how fast it's really going, but I'm guessing. And so it's got a really flexible tremolo, and when you want to turn it off, you just hold the ramp switch and it goes away. So you can use that ramp function like a built-in expression pedal that you don't need to have an external expression pedal for. So most of our pedals support that. All the leaps do, most of the fever pitch does. So even if you don't have room on your board for an expression pedal, you can still get some expressive control of the pedals, and it's just built right in, and you can set it up the way you want it. So they're pretty cool. They're little. They hit a nice price point. They're great value for money, and they sound really, really good. So, do you want to hold the microphone now? It's heavy.
It's a lot of work, man.
It is. I really appreciate the good work you guys are doing with it.
Thank you so much for your time today, man.
Absolutely. It's good to see you guys. Have a great NAMM.